Welcome to the USO. My name is Maggie Prado, and I am the Director of Recruitment, part of your HR team in Arlington, Virginia. The goal of this orientation module is to acquaint you with the rich history and the mission of the USO. To help you appreciate the legacy of the organization you have joined, we're going to review some of the historical landmarks of the USO and consider what it means to be attached to the mission. First, let's consider the mission itself. The mission has been and always will be the foundation of the organization. While the exact verbiage of the mission may have been wordsmithed over the years, the sentiment has never wavered. Our mission, and now your mission, is to lift the spirits of America's troops and their families. It is humble when you consider those we are here to serve. It is at the same time daunting when you step back and realize that our customers are millions of people throughout the world. To measure the success of our mission delivery, we need to consider what we accomplish through interactions both grand and private. The best way to understand that impact of our mission accomplished is to hear it through the words of those who have benefited from what we do. In other words, we measure our success one story at a time, one personal touch at a time, and one life impacted at a time. Let me share 3 stories with you to help illustrate this. As you may be aware, there is a program called Pro vs. G.I. Joe. This is an amazing program that uses online video games to connect troops overseas to professional athletes back home. Now, what makes this particularly cool is that during this spirited battle between the pros and the G.I. Joes, unbeknownst to the troops, the professional athletes stateside are hosting the troops' families. So, during the live webcam portion of the event, between battles, when the pros are just visiting with the troops get that extra fabulous connection. During NBA All-Star Game weekend, Shaquille O'Neal was playing NBA 09 Xbox Live with Master Sergeant Anthony James, who was stationed in Germany. Before the match, Anthony was saying that he thought he had a chance against the legendary sports star with his secret weapon. He had much smaller thumbs, and that gave him more flexibility with the controller. Between matches, the two were chatting via webcam when Shaq told Anthony to hold on because he had to pick something up. Shaq then leaned down and lifted into Anthony's view his son. It just about undid the sergeant, who practically fell out of his chair and shouted, "That's my son!" His son was celebrating his 8th birthday that day, literally in Shaquille O'Neal's arms. Later, Anthony said, "Oh great, now how am I ever going to top that birthday?" The second story is about our Sesame Street tours. The USO is not just for the troops, but it's for the families as well. We hosted a tour of about 50 bases here in the U.S. last year, taking Elmo and the Sesame Street gang to visit children of deployed service members. This year, the tour extends to Europe and Asia. You might not know that Elmo's father has had some long stints away from home. At one point during the show, Elmo says to the children, in a way that only Elmo can talk, "Elmo knows that when our mommies and daddies are away, we really miss them." A little boy in the front row shouted back to Elmo, "I miss my daddy." Then all the other preschoolers nodded along in what became an impromptu nursery school support group. For the parents watching, there wasn't a dry eye in the house, but Elmo knew just how to relate. And the third story is to illustrate how sometimes it's the little touches that make the most difference. We often describe the USO as being a home away from home for our troops. You might wonder, what does that look like? Well, in some USO centers, it's not a look at all, it's a smell. The previous center director at Vicenza, Italy, tells us that she baked a cake every week. She said, "It's not about the cake, though it usually gets eaten. It's about the baking. The guys see me in the kitchen, they are mixing and measuring, and invariably I end up with a crowd in the kitchen." Hey, need any help with that? Then the troops are stirring the batter, licking the bowl, breaking the eggs. It's a way of being home. Of course, our greatest resource in accomplishing the USO mission is our human resource. Let's examine why each of you are here. When we were hired, we each became not simply an employee of the USO, but an ambassador of the mission. From a recruiting standpoint, every time we interview applicants for positions with the USO, we focus on 3 key factors. In other words, as you progress through the interview and selection process with us, these are the 3 areas in which you impressed us the most. First and foremost, you demonstrated a great capacity to be committed to our mission and to act on that commitment. This is one of our key values as an organization, that we all have a mission-first mentality. This value is the tie that binds together our collective efforts. Secondly, you have represented yourself with a high degree of personal excellence. Important to the culture and the reputation of the USO is that we all have an unwavering integrity in our actions and show profound respect for others and for those who serve. Simply put, through the interviews and meetings with you, we felt you would represent the USO with pride and integrity. Third, as we learned about your work and life experiences, you demonstrated a capacity to help fill a void in the organization, whether as a duty manager, an information specialist, a center manager, or any of the other many positions within the USO. We look for you now to apply your professional know-how within the framework of your position. In the next part of our presentation, we will look at the 3 stages of the USO's existence: our history, the USO of today, and the USO into the future. As referenced when we started, the USO has a rich history. We hope you have reviewed the wealth of information on our website and also viewed the videos that were referred to you in the instructions for your orientation modules. If you have not had the chance yet to view the short videos, please take the opportunity to do so now. The impact of the USO stretches back 69 years, when under the leadership of FDR, 6 service organizations were challenged to come together during World War II to create one organization that would provide morale-boosting services for troops on leave. This is how the USO came to life. The USO is not a military or government-run organization. In fact, we are a congressionally chartered nonprofit funded exclusively through private and corporate donations plus a federal grant. From its inception, the USO has relied on an army of volunteers to run our centers. In fact, there are about 100 volunteers to every paid employee. Currently, there are approximately 400 paid staff worldwide. It is significant to note that the USO has global reach. This positions us in a unique way to provide programs and services where they are needed most. Our customers, if you will, are active duty military and their families, regardless of where they are stationed. At no other time has our call to service been so great. Consider the world circumstances that impact our mission, as well as the makeup of active duty military. Many in the military are under 25. Multiple deployments are the norm, significantly impacting both the service member and their families. And wounded warriors and their families face challenges in ways that we cannot even imagine. All those factors mean that the USO mission is as vital as it was in 1941.